Hello, geography class. Happy Monday. I hope you all are having an amazing day so far. And I hope that your 3-day weekends were truly wonderful and amazing. I know that I needed the time to relax, to get work done, and to catch up on sleep. So I hope that all of you were able to do so as well. So, we have a really fun week ahead of us because we are going to finish up our time in Central America today. Tomorrow, we're going to finish up our thinking about stereotypes. And then on Wednesday, we are officially going to begin working on the master portfolio for the main project, our Explore North America travel agency project. So, from Wednesday onwards, we will only be focusing on project creation. So, I do want everyone to be excited for that. So, I'm really excited for it, but we've got some things to do first. So, with that being said, let me share my screen so we can begin today's activities. So with our last look at human movement, okay, we're at our last look in Central America and the Caribbean, we're going to look at a human movement current event. I know that of the 5 themes of geography, movement is sometimes the hardest to understand, or at least the hardest to create a concept of in our head, to conceptualize, right? And so hopefully today's activity will do a really good job of looking at one of the forms that human movement can take in the world. But first, to start things off today, we are going to do rose, bud, thorn. Okay, so a rose is something good that is going on right now. A bud is something you are looking forward to. And a thorn is something not so good going on right now. So, right now, I want you to please type in the Zoom chat your rose, your bud, and your thorn. If you can, please send that message to everybody. I think that would be very cool so we can all see what everyone is up to. You can even respond to your classmates in productive, respectful ways if you would like to. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, please just share your rose, your bud, and your thorn with Teacher Maypo. All right, go ahead and get that going right now. Teacher Maypo will pause the video. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about today. Okay, our daily objective is I can understand how movement impacts groups of people by analyzing a current event. Okay, so for our warm up, we're going to think a little bit about movement ourselves. Okay, so right now, take a moment to send a message in the chat. Have you ever moved to a new place before? Why did you move? How did you move your things? Okay. Please go ahead and send those messages into the chat. If you have never moved somewhere before, I want you to take a guess at how would you move your things? What would the process be like? If you'd like to share an answer out loud with a class, you may also do that as well. But I want you to come up with this and send a message in the chat. Have you ever moved to a new place before? Why did you move? And how did you move your things? So Teacher Maypo is going to go ahead and pause the video while we get all these answers from everybody. Awesome. Now that we finished that, let's talk about movement in a geography sense, okay? Movement in geography looks at why and how people move, okay? Movement, how and why people do that movement. Oftentimes, people move to new places for better job opportunities, nicer weather, and safety. Okay. So most people will move by airplane or vehicle, right? Like a car or bus if they're going a long distance, right? We live in the 21st century. There are certain technologies that are available to a lot of people on this planet. Things like going places in airplanes, right? Driving around town in a car or a bus, right? But today, we are going to look at a group of people who made a move for all of those reasons above. They moved for better job opportunities, for nicer weather, and for more safety. Okay. But they had to walk to do this movement. They had to walk across many countries. And they did this to get to a home they weren't sure they could even enter. Okay. So this is an event called the Migrant Caravan. Okay. We will watch and read a story from 2018, just 2 years ago, about a group of people from Central America who moved from their region to the United States border. Okay. They moved with the hopes of finding a better life for them and their families. However, they did not move by car, by bus, or by plane. They walked, and they walked together. Okay? This is a path of just through Mexico, what the caravan looked like. They had to travel 3,500 kilometers on foot. Okay? They had to make this journey on foot. And most of them, many of them, started before Mexico City. Okay? Or started before the country of Mexico. So, we're going to watch a video that was made by a man who reported on this story. He will talk about who joined the migrant caravan and why. And then, as a class, afterwards, we're going to discuss who joined the migrant caravan and why they are trying to go to the US-Mexico border. Just to check. Okay. So, let's take a moment to watch this video together.
I'm Jean-Nicolas, the UNHCR representative in Yemen, and I would like to...
Advertisements are the worst.
After kilometer, young and old, men and women.
When you see people on the route, you know the probabilities of what there's ahead of them.
At least 4,000 people in a caravan that began in Honduras.
Part of you wants to say to them, listen, for most of you, this isn't going to work. Obviously, you can't interfere with the story. The only thing you can do is listen to them. I'm John Holman, I'm in Mexico City, and for the last year and a half, I've been covering Central Americans trying to get through Mexico into the United States. And between us, this is the story that's been the most difficult to get right that I've encountered. Now, a lot of these people that are coming from Honduras, El Salvador and Guatemala are fleeing for either one of two reasons. One of them is violence. These are some of the most violent countries, a lot of them in the grip of gangs warring over those countries and involving a lot of people. The other reason is economic. Those countries suffer from poverty and they're trying to find some sort of better life for themselves in the United States. We try and follow them as they go each step of the way.
I'm on the river between Guatemala over here, Mexico on the other side.
It's a fairly exhausting process, obviously much more exhausting for them. They're having to cover distances of sort of a marathon a day.
We have to cross, whatever happens.
We say that they're migrants, and when you're speaking to them individually, you realize that that's not the label that they put on themselves. Really, these are people with very different and varied backgrounds. I've talked to people that worked in banks. I've talked to people that were electricians. I've talked to people that worked in supermarkets, people from all walks of life. But that sort of disappears as they head in this mass. They run out of clothes and suddenly they're all dressed in sort of the same things that get donated along the way. They run out of money, they're all sleeping rough, and it's easy to look at them as just one mass. This is what defines these people. They're migrants. That loss of sense of self. So there's one family that we filmed. The dad, Alvin, had polio, so one of his legs was pretty withered. They had 2 young children with them. The lady, who was called Early, she was quite heavily pregnant, and we picked up with them just when they were crossing the border into Mexico.
We just have these blankets so the children don't sleep on the pure pavement.
I remember the last shot in our piece was like early on her back. You could see her pregnancy with her 2 children curled up on either side of her. And then we've picked up again with that family when they were in Atlanta. They actually made it over. They asked for asylum. It was their promised land, the United States, and they were living on this trailer park, sharing a trailer with someone else, living off cereal for all of their meals because they didn't have any money to get anything else. And it was just a sense of, is this it? It got quite hard covering it, because there was a cycle that we saw happen every time, that people started off very optimistic. At first, they really wanted to talk to you because they saw the media as something that could help tell their story and why they needed to get to the United States. And then when things stopped moving, that relationship was more difficult. Suddenly, they didn't really want to talk. And their whole mood had changed from being one of like, we're doing this, we're on our way, we're traveling together, to being, well, why is this not happening? Why can't we get through? And we knew what was probably going to happen at the end, that they were going to be stuck on the border with Mexico, not able to get through into the United States, or if they were able to get through and ask for asylum, many of them weren't going to be successful. It was almost like you were being pushed to go to one extreme or another, to sort of pick a side, because one side of the argument was saying, well, all of these people are potential criminals. Another side was trying to say, well, none of them are. It was sort of an ongoing journalistic process where you had to keep looking at yourself and thinking, am I presenting the whole picture here? I'm really sad about what we've seen, the stories that we heard. Whatever you think about the wrongs and rights of these people's journeys, I think it's right for there to be transparency about what's happening to them and what their situation is.
Okay. So that video is pretty heavy. Okay, that video is, there's a lot going on there, these people's lives, this guy talking about these people's lives. So if you need to take a moment to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, that's okay. And you can keep doing that as much as you need. Okay? But now I want to, as a class, discuss who joined the migrant caravan, okay? And why they are trying to get to the US-Mexico border. So everyone go ahead and say either out loud if you can, or in a Zoom chat box message, who are these people joining the migrant caravan and why are they trying to go to the US-Mexico border? Go ahead and do that right now. Teacher Maypo is going to pause this video. All right, welcome back. On Edmodo, you're going to find an article discussing the migrant caravan, okay? I want you to read the article and complete the comprehension questions in your project groups, okay? We're still getting the time to work together in these project groups to learn more about each other as group mates. So please read the article and complete the comprehension questions. When we are reading the article, I want us to read it together, which means we're going to read it out loud. Okay, so every person is going to take turns reading each new paragraph out loud. If you don't read it perfectly, that's okay, because everyone is going to be following along as well. So everyone will get to hear it and read it. So, 6th grade, that's what we're doing for the rest of the day, okay? You're about to be placed into your groups. But before you go, just know that I miss you all already. And I look forward to being able to hang out with all of you very soon. I will be hosting office hours tomorrow from 8 to 9 a.m. So please stop by if you have the time to do so. All right, everyone. You all are amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your best. And I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow.